Okay guys, it's Judith from JVArt Resources, and today I'm just going to show you a very quick little tutorial on how I do a little bit of blending on my cat portrait that I'm working on. Now, what you can probably tell here is I'm just starting to work on this little area right up in here, and I've just recently done an article on these wonderful caran'dache full body blenders, and I just want to show you them in action, and also I can show you a little bit of how I do some of the fur on my cat. Now if you look, you can see I have on my computer screen, this section here is blown up pretty big. I always recommend, if you can do that with your picture, it's great to really see the different shades in there. Like this portion right over here that I did of the cheek has many pencils and layers and colors in it that I might not have seen otherwise. You can improvise, of course, but it helps me, and that's something I like to do, especially in the eyes. There are some areas, little dots in the eyes that I didn't see on the original photograph. So at any point that you can do that, it's helpful. But now I'm going to work on this area here and just show you briefly what I do, and it's not going to be a very long video. So I like to lay down color immediately, and if it's a light area like over here, I will just start and lay down a first color. And it doesn't really matter what color as long as you're in the family of colors. This is like a beige, a little bit of orangey in there, but we'll add that later. So first thing I want to do is cover the paper and get my first light tone down. So I'll do that. And then up in here, it gets to be a little more gray. So I'll go in with a light gray and just get that first base down. Just sort of color blocking for the moment, if you will. That's what I refer to it as. Just block in the colors that you're going to need. Now I already have a darker gray up in here that I did at first. Now I'm going to layer in another color. I'm going to use this luminance sepia because it's very dark, but it's not quite black, and that's going to give some depth, because if you look in here you can see that's dark, but it is not black. Some of it might be, so we'll go back to that after and add some black. But right now, just going to add a couple of more layers of some color here. I have down gray, I have down a darker gray, and now I'm going to add a little bit of this sepia just to give it a little dimension. Maybe there's a dark line here. I'll start to add that with this color. I may go over it again, like I said, with the black. Not sure yet. Just going to see how it develops. That's the great thing with colored pencil. You can just layer and layer. You can, if I decide that this layer is just too brown and it's going to show and I really don't care to use it, since I'm working in layers, I'll take my little Tombow eraser. As you can see, I can just lift that brown right off. Now I do want it there, but I'm just showing you this for the sake of the video. Now you could see that little bit of gray, and I shouldn't do that. Use your brush or use a spray. You don't want to do that. That was bad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be showing you my bad habits. So now I'll go back in with the brown, because that's the one that I really wanted, this dark brown, and just add a layer of that color. Let me actually zoom in a little bit. I think you can see better. I wanted you to see the video. I'm sorry, the computer screen. But maybe it's more important that you see that. Okay, so now on my screen I'm looking at this very section right here. And there's browns and there's blacks, and it's actually kind of hard to tell because his fur is just so many different colors. So I'm just putting in the dark where I see it. Just following the picture. A little more dark down here. Makes a little bit of a turn. A little bit of it goes up into this blondish area, which this will be toned down. This is way too yellow, but I always put that first layer down, like I said, to color block in the paper. Now over here there is a little bit of a grayish area, but it's not quite that light, so I'll go in with a darker layer. This is also sepia 50%, so it's got a nice brownish gray hue to it. I'll get that in there. And there's another section up here also that has a little bit of lighter area in it. So I'll fill this in and leave that little area light, just like my picture. Now, there's an area here that's really pretty dark. I would say that's probably black. Maybe a hair lighter, but I'm going to go with the black, and I'm just going to put a light layer in for now. And then I'm going to blend this all together, see what it looks like, compare it to the picture that I'm looking at on the computer, and I'll make adjustments from there. Now, right around that little light spot, there's much darker fur, and I believe it's black. Some of it has almost like a brownish golden hue to it in certain areas here. So in that case, I would take another pencil. This is, let's see, brown ochre, and I'll just put just a hint of it in here. And this is almost like another part of the underpainting. And I'm working on this section, but since I spotted that, I may go up into that area. Now I'm going to cover those with the darker brown again. I know you're thinking, well, why do it in the first place? But when you blend it, you'll see why. Now going back with the black. But loosely. This is in tight little strokes. This is sort of loosely, so when they're blended together, you will see that little bit of a golden hue. And I'm not worried about this edge up here. That will be cleaned up a little bit, and then at the end, what I would do is take a very fine point, even finer than this, and fleck up with it like that and make little tiny hairs to get that fuzzy look. But right now, I'm not concerned with that. That's something I will do at the very end. So now I have my dark over the goldish color, and I've got my dark over this light here. Now, that light on the computer in there is much grayer. So I'm going to just hit the center just very lightly. And then when we blend, it'll cover up nice. Now I think I'm ready to blend. So here is the caran'dache full blender. Well, I'll use I have this little one here, but I will use the full one just to show you. And you see how beautiful of a point you can get with that. Now, I'm just going to start blending this area and bring all those colors together. I'll go right over that light area. Now you can see the colors coming together, and it's still leaving that little center light. I may go back and do more work on that. Here we're coming into the area where I put that golden color. Go back and forth until it's blended. I can bring some of it down into this area, though this is going to get more also. Not sure what yet though. Need to look at the screen. And this is also going to get more, but we'll just blend it and see how it looks for now. This needs much more darker, so I'm not going to blend that yet, because you don't want to ruin the tooth of the paper. I'm not pressing terribly hard, though. I'm pressing hard enough. Maybe like the pressure of a 3, possibly, I would say. Because once you destroy the tooth of the paper, you really can't put much more there. But as of right now, I can definitely add some more. And let's see. We'll zoom out and take a look. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Let's see, can you see it on the screen? Yep, that's pretty good. I'd say we got most of this area looking pretty good. I do have to darken this more, so I will go back with the black now and do that, and that may be a final coat. We'll see how it looks. And then back in here, we'll have to just blur this out a little bit more and maybe add a little bit more of the gold in there that got covered up with too much. So that's basically it. I just wanted to give you just a very brief little look at how I blend with my Luminance blender, and I'm sorry, my caran'dache blender, and just show you how I start to lay other colors. Again, I'm going to go back in here with some more grays later, and even though it's light, there's many shades in there, many shades. Just like on this cheek, there's probably some beiges and browns and some golden hues, and then all little flecks of color. So that's going to take quite a bit of time. That'll probably this one little section here might take about an hour to complete. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And I maybe will show you another video when I start working on another area. So thanks again, and take care.